Jeff's Superscript is brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Collectibles, in my opinion, the best comic shop and clubhouse on the internet. Follow them at Black Cat Burbank on Instagram and join their claim sales on Tuesdays for new books and Fridays for back issues. And don't forget to ask about joining their Stray Cats Club for special perks.
Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books hitting Final Order Cutoff either this Sunday, May 23rd, for everything from Lunar, that's DC and Scout Comics, and then Monday, May 24th, for everything from Diamond, that's everything else. There aren't that many books that I'm going to be talking about this week. I think it's about 8, so we'll move through them as quickly as possible. The first book I want to mention to you is a new book called Compass, The Cauldron of Eternal Life. This is issue number 1 of a limited series of 5 issues from Image Comics. Here's the description. Greg Rucka proudly presents a new direction in adventure with Compass. Shahida El-Amin is many things: scholar, cartographer, astronomer, mathematician, scientist, explorer, adventurer, and, when need be, two-fisted fighter. Setting out from Baghdad's legendary House of Wisdom during the Islamic Golden Age, Shahi's quest brings her to 13th century Britain, where the Welsh are whispered to possess the secret of eternal life. But Shahi's not the only one after it. Reteaming from the pages of the Old Guard Tales Through Time, writers Robert Mackenzie and Dave Walker and artist Justin Greenwood take you on a breathless race. Follow the compass to unlock the secrets of the ancient world. All right, well, this is a new book. It actually doesn't sound horrible. I don't immediately gravitate towards it, but if there's something in that description that you immediately gravitate toward, you might want to go ahead and pre-order it before Final Order Cutoff. Books like this are some that sometimes shops under order. I mean, it's a number 1, so they order them, but with these indie ones, you know, it's safer just to pre-order it if it sounds interesting to you. The next book I want to mention to you is a book called Jupiter's Legacy Requiem. This is issue number 1 of a 12-issue limited series, also from Image Comics. Here's the description. Special double-sized issue. The next chapter in 2021's Netflix global phenomenon begins here as Mark Millar returns for the sequel to one of his most critically acclaimed series. Chloe and Hutch have gotten married and had more children. The superheroes are working in harmony with humanity and creating a perfect world. But all is not well in the Garden of Eden as the Sampson family gets ripped apart and the secrets of the Netflix show's mysterious island begin to be revealed. Order big, as this will be a juggernaut. All right, so they're obviously relying a lot on the heat and popularity that may or may not be coming from the Netflix show. It's just released on Netflix. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I'm interested in watching it and checking it out, so I don't have anything to say about the show yet. I also really haven't been hearing a lot of people talking about the show and saying like, oh wow, Jupiter's Legacy, it's really cool, you should check it out. So obviously, they're trying to build on some of the publicity that they're getting off of the television show with this series. If you're a fan of the series already, you may want to order this before Final Order Cutoff. If you really like the television show, you might want to order this. But it remains to be seen for me. I'm going to check out the television show. Even if the television show is really, really great, I don't know that I'm going to start picking up the comic book. I might just leave what I enjoy about it in the television show. But like I said, if this is a book for you and this sounds interesting for you, you might want to order it before Final Order Cutoff this Monday. The next book I want to mention to you is a book called Demon Days Mariko, number 1 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. In the shadow of Kirasaki Mountain, a secret history comes to light. The Demon Days saga by Stormbreaker Peach Momoko continues. Mariko Yashida hears mysterious voices and has strange dreams that feel real. Her red-headed maid, who dresses in all black, might know more than she lets on. What is the connection between Mariko, the creatures called Oni, and Kirasaki Mountain? Find out in the next installment of this tale of magic monsters and Marvel characters like you've never seen them before. Beautifully rendered by Peach Momoko. Book 2 of 5 of the Demon Days saga. Alright, so like they mentioned, this is book 2 of 5 of Peach Momoko's Demon Days saga. The first one was Demon Days XMen, which seems to have come out, I don't know, it feels like it was 2 or 3 months ago. It feels like it was a long time ago. Now we're getting the second installment. Apparently each one of these 5 books in this Demon Days series from Peach Momoko are kind of sort of one-shots. I read the first one. I liked it. It was entertaining. It wasn't great. Didn't blow me away. It was cool, and it was somewhat unique in its art style and its Japanese, heavily Japanese influenced art style. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a spin on characters that I know and love already, and I expect this to be more of the same. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up and check it out and read it because Peach Momoko is so hot, and it's still dealing with characters that I like a lot in the Marvel Universe and amongst the X-Men. So I'm going to check it out, but I can't say that I'm super, super enthused about it. The next book I want to mention to you is a book called Heroes Reborn, Weapon X, and the Final Flight, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. This is a one-shot Heroes Reborn tie-in. Here's the description. They're the best there is at what they do. In a world without the Avengers, the Squadron Supreme protects and defends the interests of America. But where does that leave a country like Canada? The Great White North is now a wasteland. Their forests are scorched. Their provinces annexed. Their people barely surviving. Who will stand up and protect them from the supremacy of the Squadron? Weapon X and Final Flight. That's who. Alright, so like I mentioned, I'm an X-Men fan. Books like this get me really interested. Obviously, this is a what-if story in the Heroes Reborn world. In this world, what happened to Logan, Wolverine? And also, what's the status of Alpha Flight, here being called Final Flight? This is an interesting kind of what-if spin on these characters. It's what I like the most about the Heroes Reborn kind of thing, is that it's it's a spin on characters that we are already so familiar with. It could be interesting to see these stories. So if you're a Wolverine fan, if you're an Alpha Flight fan, if you're a Marvel fan, if you're a Heroes Reborn fan, there's lots of reasons you might go ahead and order this before Final Order Cutoff. The next book I want to mention is a book called Marvel's Voices Pride number 1 from, obviously, Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Marvel celebrates LGBTQ plus characters and creators with a rainbow-powered special. Marvel Comics is proud to present its first ever queer-centered anthology. Ring in Pride Month with an amazing assembly of writers and artists from all walks of life. Wiccan and Hulkling, Iceman, Mystique and Destiny, Karma, Akahiro, Nico Minoru, and Carolina Dean. Celebrate these and so many more legendary characters from across the Marvel archive. New and fan-favorite creators tell their pride stories, stories of inspiration and empowerment, stories that illustrate the world outside your window in full color. Plus, some of Marvel's biggest LGBTQ plus moments get a special reprinting. Don't miss an extraordinary new chapter in Marvel history. It's a one-shot, it's 88 pages, it's oversized, it's $10. Same thing I'm going to say about this book as I say about every one of these types of books. I'm very glad that they're making this book. There are certain groups that will benefit from increased visibility, and I think the homosexual community, or I guess I should say the LGBTQ plus community, I think has proven historically the benefits that visibility give to a disenfranchised group. So I'm glad to see more of that in this title, but I also, as I always say as well, it's got to be good stories, well told, that are interesting, with great art kind of stuff. I got to say, I recently read the DC one with the Asian superheroes, and I got to say, it was basically a snooze fest. It was not very entertaining from a story. All these tiny little cute little stories weren't really doing much for me at all. Maybe it's not for me as a non-Asian. Maybe if I was Asian, I would appreciate the little stories a little bit better. But ultimately, they should appeal to everybody, because that's what's going to make these characters more appealing to everybody down the line. So, that's the DC book. I'm not going to say that this Marvel book is going to be like that. Maybe the Marvel books are doing a better job. Let me know if you've been reading any of these special books, and that any of them were particularly interesting to you. Down in the comments, let me know if there's one that you thought was really, really good. But in general, I feel like these are kind of, I don't know, not unnecessary, that's not the right word, but they don't really live up to their potential to shine a light on how great these characters are and why people should care about them. The next book I want to mention to you is a book called Planet-Sized X-Men #1, also from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. They came to slay. The Hellfire Gala rages on, but bigger things are afoot, a world away. Make no mistake, this is an X-Men book drawn by superstar artist Pepe Larraz. It is absolutely the most important issue of the month, says this description. Okay, so this is all part of the Hellfire Gala thing that's going on. I talked about the list of the Hellfire Gala books in my last week's FOC video. If you didn't see that, here's the little card for that. You can see me go over very quickly all the books that are the 12 books that are part of this Hellfire Gala event of sorts in the X-Men world. This is not the book where they're premiering the new X-Men team, but they are calling it the most important issue of the month. I don't know if they're talking about for all Marvel comics that are coming out for the month, or just the 12 issues of the X-Men themed comics that are coming out for the month. Regardless, to say that, it piques my interest. I know they're trying to sell me a comic book, but it does pique my interest. It is an oversized book of 48 pages. It's still $5, so it's not like a crazy price for an oversized book. I'm going to pick it up. I'm a big fan of the X-Men. I'm a big fan of giant-size X-Men. So I'm going to pick up Planet-Sized X-Men as well and see basically what the hype is about. I'm going to give it a shot. You might consider giving it a shot as well and securing it on your pull ahead of Final Order Cutoff is a smart way to do it, so that there's probably going to be plenty of copy of this out there, but it's always nice to have it reserved in your pull box. You don't have to worry about it. It's there when you go to pick up your comics. Easy peasy. The next book I'm going to mention to you is a new book. It is called Save Yourself. This is issue #1 of a 4-issue limited series from Boom Studios. Here's the description. What if magical girls weren't Earth's champions at all? Ao, Thel, and Jen, better known as the Lovely Trio, first burst onto the scene 5 years ago when they saved Earth from a surprise space monster attack. Since then, everyone, including Gigi, whose brother died as a bystander in a Lovely Trio battle, idolizes them as superheroic pop icons. But when Gigi witnesses the Lovely Trio battling a monster firsthand, she sees something that causes her to question everything she thought she knew about her heroes. A magical new series from the team behind Pandora's Legacy, writer Bones Leopard and artist Kelly and Nicole Matthews, that's just perfect for fans of Sailor Moon and Wind. All right, it sounds interesting. I like Boom Studios. It sounds like an interesting story. It's only a 4-issue limited series, so the commitment's not that big. And they said it's for fans of Sailor Moon, which I'm not really at all. But Wind, I am a fan of. So that kind of interests me as well. I haven't decided yet if I am going to add this to my poll. It's on the edge of me, you know, my fandom for Boom and Boom projects, and it's only 4 issues. I'm kind of interested, but I'm not quite sure yet. I'm gonna have to think about this one. Whether or not you need to think about it, I wanted to make sure it was on your radar. The next book I'm going to mention to you is a book called Seven Swords. This is issue number 1 from Aftershock Comics. Here's the description. A weary and jaded D'Artagnan, that's not how you pronounce that name, but he's one of the Three Musketeers. D'Artagnan, I'm going to say, is thrown into a final conflict with the wicked Cardinal Richelieu. That's my attempt at pronouncing that one as well. Whose ruthless quest for power has led him to the supernatural. But the last musketeer can't defeat these infernal enemies alone. To save the world, he'll need to join forces with 7 iconic swashbuckling heroes: Don Juan, Captain Blood, Cyrano de Bergerac, to name a few. 7 Swords, who must overcome their host of differences and work together if they have any hope of thwarting Richelieu's diabolical plans. From writer Evan Daughtry and illustrator Ricardo Latina comes high adventure with a cutting edge. All right, if you're a Three Musketeers fan, if you're a Don Juan, Captain Blood, Cyrano de Bergerac fan, if you like sword fighting and swashbuckling and this type of story, this is going to be a book for you. The next book I'm going to mention is a book called Static, Season 1. This is issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from DC Comics. Here's the description. At long last, the famous face of the Milestone universe is making its shocking return. Bullied nerd Virgil Hawkins wasn't the kind of kid you'd normally find on the streets at a protest, but like everyone else in the city of Dakota, he was fed up. Unfortunately, the first time he stood up to raise his voice, the world turned upside down. The experimental tear gas released that day left some of his classmates maimed or dead, but it left Virgil and others with stunning new abilities. Virgil has power inside him now, real power, the ability to channel and manipulate electromagnetic fields, but there's anger burning inside him too. What is he supposed to do about all of this? And first and foremost, what is he supposed to do about his bullies now that they've gotten superpowers too? A dynamic creative team of new comics voices and Milestone Media veterans join forces to open up a new chapter in the story of the most iconic black teen superhero in comics history. I don't know if this character is the most iconic black teen superhero in comics history in a world where Miles Morales is as hot as he is, but we're going to forgive DC and their description a little bit of hyperbole on this one. So yes, the Milestone imprint is returning with these characters first, and we're getting here Static. Static is a character that is beloved by a lot of people, that was around and then kind of went away. It's smart and actually surprising that it took this long for DC to pick up these characters. But they're here. This could be really interesting. This could be really cool. I don't know how much spec potential it's going to have. I mean, if you want the first appearance of Static, you're going to have to go back and pick up the original first appearance of Static. But maybe this is going to bring some new readers to the book and increased popularity to the title. If you love the character or, for whatever reason, I wanted you to have this on your radar. And there's probably going to be lots of copies of this out there. It's probably not one that you have to order pre-FOC. But once again, as always, if you see a book that you just really like, you're going to buy it. You just know. I always recommend put it into your pull and put it into your pull ahead of Final Order Cutoff. And the last book we are going to mention today is a book called Wonder Woman, Black and Gold, issue number 1. This is a 6-issue limited series. Here's the description. Written by John Arcudi, Amy Reeder, Becky Cloonan, AJ Menendez, and Nadia Shamas. Art by Ryan Sook, Amy Reeder, Becky Cloonan, Ming Doyle, and Morgan Beam. Just in time for Wonder Woman's 80th anniversary, DC Comics proudly presents a new anthology series starring the Amazon princess embellished in the color of her famous lasso. You won't want to miss this thrilling series celebrating the woman who inspires us all, and that's the truth. Kicking things off, John Arcudi and Ryan Sook reunite to show us the grace immortality grants a hero. Becky Cloonan weaves a spine-tingling tale of Diana's most precious weapon against the darkness. Then Amy Reeder takes us back to the Golden Age for a fun romp co-starring Etta Candy. AJ Menendez and Ming Doyle travel to Themyscira for a tense family reunion. And finally, Nadia Shamas and Morgan Beam show us a story of Diana's past failures coming back to haunt her. All right, in the grand tradition of Batman Black and White and Superman Red and Blue, we now have Wonder Woman Black and Gold. Batman Black and White, I've read many of the issues of, and in general, I think they're really, really great. They tend to tell really cool stories, and the art tends to be amazing. It tends to be an opportunity for artists to really showcase their talents. I flipped through a little bit of the Superman Red and Blues, very little, I'll admit. Didn't really see much that I find impressive there. Possibly Wonder Woman Black and Gold will be really cool. If you love Wonder Woman, then this is absolutely something I recommend checking out, because the Batman one, at least, has some really kind of fun, interesting stories and beautiful, beautiful art. But as I've said about Batman Black and White previously, for me, it's all about the writers and the artists in each one of these issues. And of course, it changes in each, there's many stories in each book, and then there's 6 different books. If there is a writer or an artist that I'm a big, big fan of, I'm inclined to pick up the book. If they're not, if there aren't writers and artists in there that I'm particularly a fan of, I'm not as inclined, unless I'm a huge fan of the character. And I like Wonder Woman a lot, but I'm not a big enough fan to pick it up just based on the Wonder Woman aspect of it. And all of the names that I just read to you none of the names are ones that I immediately gravitate towards myself, so I wouldn't pick it up for that reason either. But once again, if you're a Wonder Woman fan, or if you're a fan of any of the writers of artists that I just listed, then you might want to go ahead and pick up this book and reserve it ahead of Final Order Cutoff. And as a reminder, once again, Final Order Cutoff for these last 2 books, the DC books I mentioned, are a day earlier than everything else. They are on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, May the 23rd. Okay, that is the books for today. That's it, folks. That's everything I wanted to point out to you. And as a reminder, this is just a sampling of books that I thought I wanted to bring to your attention, to give a special spotlight on. There are lots and lots and lots of books out there. Down in the description, I have links to both the Diamond website, where you can see all the books coming up to Final Order Cutoff this upcoming Monday, and everything at the Lunar website that hits Final Order Cutoff this upcoming Sunday. So if you're interested in looking at the whole lists, those links are down in the description. If you like this video and you like this content, likes are appreciated by me, so hit that like button, won't you? I like likes. And also, if you haven't already subscribed, thank you for watching this video. Even though you're not subscribed, I invite you to go ahead and hit the subscribe guy right here. And make sure you hit the notification bell so that you're informed about random videos that come out from me from time to time. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.